guests, closing out our list of guests for 2024 as we branched out this year, doing a lot of collaborations with other content creators. No one was at the top of the list other than this guy, and I'm glad we finally made it happen. He joins us whenever we call. He picks up the phone when the Flex Zone calls. His brother does not hesitate no matter what he's doing. He's out of town. He's at the literal event. He leaves the event, comes back, joins us on our stream. He does reactions. He's an acclaimed YouTuber. He's going to tell you all about it. Content creator. He does reactions to WWE. He's a resident Rams fan. He knows his sports, and he's a resident great overall guy. What better way than to end 2024 than if you don't know who he is for the first time, but if you're familiar with him from all the other times, because he's a hardworking brother, much like myself. We always going hard on the YouTube streets. The one and only reaction brother himself. I call him the king of reactions. He says he's not, but I'm crowning him tonight. The one and only brother walking through the Flex Zone Forbidden Door for the first time on a flagship podcast. You've seen him on the watch-alongs. You can check out his channel at Hear These Thoughts. Put your hands together, make some noise, and let's turn up for the one and only Hear These Thoughts. Joining us for the first time on the Flex Zone, everybody.
Yo, what's going on? What's going on? Yeah, I heard King of Reactions, Acclaimed. I'm like, there's no way they're talking about me right now. This is crazy.
Of course we're talking about you, brother.
Looking very festive over there, brother.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I had to. And it's cold in here, too, so I had to put a hoodie on. But thank y'all for having me on, man. I really appreciate you guys, man.
How you feeling, my guy?
I'm feeling good. Can't complain. I'm on the Flex Zone podcast, on the flagship show of the Flex Zone. I made it.
Look,
I made it.
Look, since you here, I would be remiss if I didn't say this. The Rams, the Rams, the Rams.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm happy. I'm happy about them right now.
Yeah.
Well, let's start. Before we get to the Rams, for those who do not know who you are, who are you? What is your name? Why do you go by Hear These Thoughts? And what do you do on these wonderful YouTube airways on everyone's streaming devices, tablets, and cellular devices where they can keep up with you?
Okay, yeah. So you can find my channel is Hear These Thoughts on YouTube. And when I originally started, I started off as doing a podcast on SoundCloud. So I didn't know exactly what subject I wanted to start off on. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do everything. So what kind of name would just kind of encompass everything? I went to like a like a business name generator or whatever, and it came out with Hear These Thoughts. That's how I got that name. So then I took that, I named the podcast that, and I started off doing YouTube, doing it that way, and it wasn't really making traction, and I didn't really care about the content I was making. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna have to give this up. I'm gonna try one more thing, and if this don't work, I'm gonna give it up. And I went into doing wrestling. So then once that started taking off a little bit, then I was like, okay, this might be what I need to be doing right now. So it's not too much of a dramatic story, but that's pretty much where it came from and how I got to where I am right now. So yeah.
Before the fellas get to it, because I know they got a lot to ask you. They want to know how you became a Rams fan. They want to know all the ins and outs of the YouTube game. I'm gonna let them go. Everybody, right now, we see you in the chat. A lot of Hear These Thoughts subscribers are in here. We appreciate you. If you're not a subscriber of Hear These Thoughts, do us a favor. Go over to his channel. I'm linking it literally in the chat right now. Click that link. Subscribe to this brother and learn something new and learn how great content creation is done. Raj, I know you got a lot to ask, so go ahead, Raj. I'm gonna let you guys go ahead and I'm gonna link the channel down below. So go ahead, Raj.
Well, my first question is this: when did you become a wrestling fan?
I've been a wrestling fan like forever, like since I was a kid, man. Like elementary school, that's all we talked about every day. Video games or wrestling. We always said the stuff The Rock said to each other. We always did the the DX cross chops every day. Got written up and everything for that. But really got me into it is we didn't really have cable like that, so we couldn't watch it all the time. But my grandma's house, she had one of them old school entertainment centers with that glass door. You got to pop it open.
Oh yeah,
she always had like random VHSs in there that had like one label on them, but what was on there was something completely different. So one day I thought I was watching Ninja Turtles, and it was like a WrestleMania, and I was like, "What is this? What is this?" And I forget which WrestleMania it was, but it was the Orient Express versus the Rockers, which the Orient Express is like a Asian tag team group, which is kind of crazy back in the day. But when I saw that match, I didn't really understand like in-ring psychology. And once I watched that, and I realized that, you know, I picked the Orient Express. I'm like, those are my favorite guys because they dress like Ryu and Ken. I was a big Street Fighter guy back in the day. And the manager for that team, his name is Mr. Fuji. And I remember him from like Pokemon. I was like, oh, he got me the Poke Flute back in the day to get me a Snorlax or whatever. And I realized that they ended up being the heels in the match. So whenever I watch a movie or watch anything wrestling related, when what I think is going to happen, they change it, then it automatically got me hooked. So then I started watching more wrestling after that to try to like see how they work in the ring. So that's how I got into that part of it. And then of course, like Stone Cold and The Rock, they the ones who got me into the promos and those type of things. So yeah, that's what really got me into it.
Oh, that's WrestleMania 6 for you, buddy.
Right. Thank you. Yeah, and we watched it like ahead of time, so I wasn't old enough to know what was going on. We watched everything late. We got all the video games late, so that's how I got into it.
Look, I totally get it. I gotta ask you.
Yeah.
We similar to you. We was on SoundCloud. Now we're on YouTube. What made you make that transition from going from audio to video?
Because I felt like, you know what? Honestly, I don't really know what made me do it, because for me, I don't like visually, as opposed to the way I am now. Like years ago, I didn't like talking to people. I didn't like being in front of people. So I figured like talking on like SoundCloud and stuff, they don't got to see my face. They ain't got to see how dirty my house is. None of that stuff. You know, like I could just talk. They could just hear me. They can give me their comments, and that's it. But then I started seeing like reactors, like, you know, and people start talking about stuff. And I saw how expressive that is, and then how it enhanced what they were saying by seeing how passionate about what they were saying was. And I was like, maybe I can, you know, maybe I can do that. Maybe if I get more comfortable getting on camera, I'll get more comfortable with talking with people. And that's what made me do the YouTube thing. Cause I'm like, that's going to build up my ability to be able to talk to people. Cause before I didn't talk at all. I didn't even like people. So yeah, this actually helped me build that up. So doing the video aspect of it really did help in that aspect.
Okay.
You can, do you consider yourself maybe a loner a little bit?
Yeah, I do. I do. Like I my social battery drains quick, but it's weird. Like I'm kind of like an introvert or kind of a loner, but I like being around and talking to a lot of people. Like I do a ton of small talk, but like if like say like people at my place and it started getting like past like 5 hours, I'm like, all right, everybody got to go, man. But if they don't go, I can't go to sleep. So it's like that. It's weird like that. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to get better at it, but it's slowly but surely.
I can understand exactly.
I get it too, man.
Yeah.
I gotta ask you then, who is your favorite wrestler?
Currently?
Past and present.
Oh, that's tough. Okay.
I know it's probably tough because some of our people from, you know, back in the day, it's hard to believe they now, you know, are retired. They're the OGs.
Yeah. Like if we go past, and I'll definitely have to go just with The Rock, just because of his charisma. Just, you know, even though he wasn't like the best wrestler, but just his persona, you know, the jackets, the sunglasses, everything, you know, whether he was talking to a heel, we were like, we don't like that guy. We know The Rock's gonna come out here and deal with. He was like your big brother coming out there dealing with your bullies. Or if he was the bad guy, you hated him, but you were like, you know what, he has a point. He pretty good at that. But right now, it's tough. I'm gonna have to be biased and pick CM Punk right now. I'm
not mad at that.
Yeah, I got to. I gotta put on Chicago. So.
So were you a little torn then when Rock and Punk faced each other?
Nah.
Yeah.
Nah, not at all. Not at all. I was going for CM Punk either way. Like I'm gonna pick Chicago before anything else, except for football. So.
Can you talk about that, Brother Doss? Because people don't know you are originally from Chicago, but now you're in Wisconsin. You're a Rams fan. If you want to peel back the curtain a little bit about your journey, I always think that's a cool story as well.
Yeah, it's weird because like when I first started watching football, I was a Bears fan because people made you feel like you had to be a Bears fan because you're from there, and it makes sense, you know, because you live in a state, you should be loyal to that state. But it was just something about the Bears that just wouldn't resonate with me. I don't know. It was just something about the colors, about the players. I didn't feel no connection with the team. So when the Rams moved to St. Louis in 1995, I knew some people who lived in Missouri who were Kansas City fans, you know, and they were giving out these free like Rams gear, like, you know, hats and stuff like that, trying to get people acclimated to the new team that just moved in there. And the Kansas City fans like, nah, we don't want that garbage. You know, it's Lynn Dawson or bus. We don't want none of that. If you want this garbage, you can have it. And I'm like, oh, you know what? I already got all this stuff. I can't afford it. but they gave it to me for free. I got a new team right here. So that's just how that started. And from that day forward, I don't regret it, man. And I feel bad for the Bears fans to this day.
Man, you should. I feel bad for them right now.
They do it themselves. It's okay.
Yeah, they're not winning anything no time soon. But
No, man.
I'm pretty sure you saw the first Super Bowl then with the greatest show on turf.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Tell me this, hear these thoughts. Do you get more entertainment from yesteryear when it comes to wrestling? Watching the old school Attitude Era, back when, there was more raunchiness, more craziness, more goofiness. Or do you like how today's wrestling is more toned down, but still very technically great, and they can't do as much as they did back then, but they still can push the edge just a little bit?
I like how it was back then just a little bit, just because there was no boundaries. But what I do appreciate now is because with all the restrictions and everything, and still finding a way to be able to build an interesting story, even with all the things going around, cancel culture, whatever. I think that's a lot more interesting because it takes a lot more creativity in order to do that, and kind of, trying to go back and forth on the fence or whatever. But yeah, I like it now. But back then, when I look back at it in retrospect, I realized how how crazy some of that stuff was, and it wasn't that great. But yeah, I rock with it now more than back then, honestly.
Is there a particular like pay-per-view or match that is like that is your favorite, like to go back and watch it?
Oh yeah, WrestleMania 17, TLC. I can't get that. I can watch that match 1,000 times and never get tired of it. Never, because I'm a big tag team wrestling fan. I've always been that. Like, even like I told you guys about the Orient Express against the Rockers. Tag team wrestling is like my favorite wrestling to watch. I know everybody like singles matches, and I appreciate that too. But tag team wrestling has always been my favorite thing. And anything with wrestling.
So, how do you feel about the current state of tag team wrestling?
They got to do better. If we're talking about specifically WWE, they definitely got to do better with that. I mean, they took the titles off of the Judgment Day. They took the titles off of the Bloodline, which is great. But we still haven't got any tag team matches on PLEs yet or pay-per-views yet since WrestleMania. So I'm trying to figure out what exactly, they're going into the right direction, cool. But it's like, we still got to act like these tag teams are important, just like everybody else. And now that we got new titles on there, I'm like, okay, how they going to figure out how to maneuver that into this now that we got 2 new women's titles? Because they're not going to let those women's titles go to the wayside without the audience saying something about it. So now that what they're going to do, they're going to push the tag team titles up, or they're going to keep pushing them back. And I don't know. I feel like they can do better with that one.
Yeah, they could probably do better with all of them, but I think it's kind of going from how it was back in the day when you still had like a limited number of tag teams, but they still made it work. It seems that's the current direction that they're going in, like bringing in Motor City Machine Guns, I don't know if they're the War Raiders, the Viking Raiders, whatever they are, but they're back. They're back. So it seems like that. You got the New Day. They still Street Profits. So they got some tag teams. They just gotta really make it work.
Sure.
Yeah. I guess let me follow up with it. Was there a particular you brought up Mr. Fuji? Was there a particular manager that you liked who did like tag team wrestling? Like some of the people that come to mind are Sonny, Jim Cornette.
Yep.
Like those are some of the people that I can think of like from back in the day.
Yeah, with the Midnight Express. Yep.
Yeah. Is there anybody like that you like since you like tag team wrestling, a particular tag team and a particular manager?
You named like two of the managers I really like the most. As far as like, those have to be the two for sure. Absolutely.
Are you a Sonny fan?
Yeah, I actually like Sonny more than most people did. I know like the stuff behind the scenes, but I thought she was cool. I thought she was cool. But she's not my favorite, but she's like one of the few to come to mind when you talk about like old school managers for tag teams. But yeah.
Well, how do you feel Triple H is doing since he inherited the role of creative control after Vince McMahon had his little escapade in the offices? How do you think that he's doing so far? And How do you think? And how do you like the move to Netflix coming January 6th?
You know, I think he's actually doing a pretty good job. There's some areas that it's kind of weird. You know, it's kind of like a head scratcher and some of this stuff. You know, actually there's some stuff that Vince McMahon actually was doing better than Triple H, but not a whole lot. But as far as where we're at now, I think they done a pretty good job. I don't know if that's like a testament to Triple H alone, or is this more TKO involvement have something to do with it? Because I know WWE is as the biggest it's ever been right now. But as far as creatively, I think Triple H done a pretty good job, but I think there's some areas he definitely can improve on, like what we just talked about with the tag team division and how they're handling some of the mid card wrestlers in some aspect. But I think he's doing okay. You know.
When do you feel the Vince McMahon era kind of went away? Because a lot of us got into wrestling because of Vince, but then you started seeing that, okay, Vince, like the direction you're going in isn't the direction that the fans are really feeling. And now Triple H is coming in, so it's a new excitement. When do you feel that Vince started losing the fan base?
Oh, in the late 2010s, like it was really bad at that time. Really,
you
Raw
about the ruthless aggression era?
Oh yeah.
No.
Oh yeah. No, the PG era. Yeah, like the PG era.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was like Raw was like the worst it's ever been. SmackDown wasn't that, like NXT was the best show out of all three. And that was just a testament of how good NXT was, but how bad Raw was and how bad SmackDown wasn't terrible, but it was better than Raw, but Raw was really bad, really, really bad. And I think at that time, well, that's when that really went down for Vince McMahon.
Do you watch some of the old wrestling documentaries, like the Rise and Fall of WCW, or the one that just came out with Vince McMahon on Netflix, or the Rock's documentary? You don't get into them?
Depends on what they are, but for the most part, I don't really. I know like they had the whole Dark Side of the Ring thing. I watched a couple of those, but I don't know. It's interesting, but at the same time, it's really not like with the whole Vince McMahon one. I didn't watch that one at all. You know, we already know what he did. You know, however you feel about it, that's not gonna change your mind on who he is and what he did. You know, I don't think, and especially like I don't side with Vince McMahon or any of this stuff, but I'm like, let's just let it play out in court before I even have some type of attachment to what's going on here. You know,
you have a thought about it,
huh? Yeah, before I have a thought, yeah. Before I have a thought about it, yeah. Before I even go on and stand on the soapbox and say this is wrong, this is right. I'm like, I don't really know for sure, and I'm okay with not knowing until like all the information gets put out there. So for me, yeah, I couldn't watch it. It was just, and I feel like even with the media, like when it comes to Vince McMahon, like I understand why, but it's almost something every day. Oh, Vince McMahon, what did he eat for breakfast today? Oh, he's starting another promotion today. He's doing this today. It's like, why are we so obsessed with what he's doing all the time? Let's just figure out what he did and let's move past that. But if his name is a hot topic, man, I don't blame him. Get them views.
Let me ask you this about AEW. Do you think it's the new WCW, being that they're a rival for WWE, but also do you feel like they are about to go out of business sometime in the near future like WCW did?
Dude, to be honest with you, I don't really know for sure because I don't really watch AEW as much as like you guys do here. I used to watch when it first came out. I watched it all the time. Save myself to trouble.
What I always tell you, I say no, you don't have to watch it. Let's come back.
And I took his advice too. But when they first came out, like I watched it a lot. I went to All In. I went to All Out. I did all of that. And then over time, after 2 years after it started, I just slowly stopped watching it. I think around the time that it was like Britt Baker was at Full Gear against Saraya. I think around that time, that's when I kind of fell off, and then I stopped watching it. So as far as it like going out of business, if I listen to social media, they're gonna go out of business every day. So I mean, according to them, it's gonna happen sometime soon. But honestly, I don't really know. I couldn't really tell you.
Yeah, I'll admit, like for me, Swerve is one of the huge reasons I still watch it. But also, if it wasn't for AEW, I wouldn't have known about Jade Cargill at all. So it does have its plus and minuses with it.
Yeah, and I really do appreciate AEW just for the fact that they do give spotlight to independent wrestlers, because like in the late 2000s, I probably got the eras mixed up, but I watched a lot of independent wrestling around that time. And I remember Swerve when he used to be Killshot. I remember when Austin Theory used to be heavy, and Evolve, and Shotzi Blackheart, and Gargano and Ciampa, and all those people when they were big in the independent scenes. And Gunther. And Gunther was the original Imperium back when it was Ring Camp back in the day when they was actually killing it in the independent scene. So, and I know that's not AEW, but just seeing a lot of these independent stars coming through AEW and just getting a spotlight, despite of how bad the product is, if they get some type of spotlight, we just saw what happened with Stephanie Vacker. Look where she's at now. So any opportunity for someone to, wrestle and, get paid to do their dream, I'm all for it.
Yeah. And look, I'm with you. I loved ROH, and that's what got me into like Kevin when he was Kevin Steen, now Kevin Owens.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that was that's actually what got me into like more. That's actually the match that actually got me into watching independent wrestling was the ladder war match between the Briscoes and Kevin Steen and El Generico. And when I saw that match, that's what got me into watching more ROH, which got me into Pro Wrestling Guerrilla and New Japan Pro Wrestling and Evolve and all that stuff. So that's the one that really set me off.
Now,
these thoughts.
Yes, sir.
I want to get off this wrestling mess, guys.
I know. I can see it in your face.
Yeah, he's ready to get in.
I can see it in his face.
Go ahead, transition.
Are you taking it to the goofiness, or are you taking it to NFL?
No, not yet. I want to.
We'll say.
Who is your favorite all-time Rams player?
Ooh, tough. Ooh, that's a tough one, man.
Even if you need to, you can do one offense, one defense. That's cool.
All right, yeah, we got to do the offense and defense. Now I'm starting to loosen up, guys. I was nervous the first 10 minutes of this podcast, so I got it all out of my system, man. I'm good now. All right, so on defense, definitely got to be Aaron Donald. Easy. One of the greatest defensive tackles of all time, easily. As far as offense, oh man,
so many to choose from.
Yeah. Torrey Hawk,
Isaac Bruce.
And then I don't want to be
Kurt Warner.
Kurt Warner. Then we got Eric Dickerson. And I don't want to be disrespectful to them and pick someone recent like a Cooper Kupp or something like that, even though he was Triple Crown. Man, and Todd Gurley. I love Todd Gurley. Steven Jackson. Man, it's prime Todd Gurley, bro. Man, when his knees was working.
Not when the knees was working.
When his knees was working.
Yeah.
When his knees was working, he was good.
You sound like Brandon Roy, man, when the knees was working.
Yes, sir. I'm actually going Marshall Faulk, man. I'm gonna have to.
That's cool. That's
Faulk.
Yeah.
I love Marshall Faulk.
Oh, can't go wrong with that. Yeah. So how far do you think the Rams are gonna go this season?
I don't know. It's a mystery, man, because the defense, the cornerbacks, and even the safety, I don't know how often I trust them, but the guys, Jared Verse and Braden Fisk, them boys, them Florida boys, they look crazy. They not Aaron Donald, but if you watch Dragon Ball Z, you know how they take the earrings off and they split up. People, that's them two right there. That's them two. The top two. They have the top 2 sacks in the league for rookies right now. So as long as that backfield stays at least solid, I think we could at least win one game in the playoffs. At least one game, and that's why I'm kind of hoping that they go against the Vikings, which sounds crazy because I know they got Jetta, I know they got Addison, I know it sounds crazy, but the QB ain't used to the spotlight. So with Fisk and Verse, if they can get at him, get him nervous, if he can't throw the ball, it ain't gonna matter where Justin Jefferson is. So,
man, I'm a surprise. I said me and Byron have been saying that we think the Rams are going to go really far. That they were a surprise team, and I said that I think it's going to be a surprise team in the NFC Championship game. And I think you guys have the potential to be that team to make it to the NFC Championship game against either the Lions or the Eagles.
Wow. Hey,
it's a lot of talent over there, man.
Yeah,
and y'all getting healthy at the right time.
Mm-hmm.
People forget how Matthew Stafford is still, he can still sling that rock.
He can still sling.
And I think I think Sean McVay is one of the best coaches in the NFL, not just NFC, just in the NFL, especially as his offensive mind. if Matthew Stafford could stay upright.
Exactly.
Because that was a struggle early in the year.
Yep.
Now it seems like things are more settling in. Cup is healthy. You got Puka Nacua came out of nowhere, healthy.
Yeah.
You guys are crazy on the offensive side of the ball. And me and Byron we were talking about Jerry Verse, and now we do draft profiles every March going into April. And Jerry Verse was somebody who we really looked at and we liked coming out of draft. But man, with Sean McVay with a coach like that, man, you're in every game. And it's funny you said the Vikings, Sean McVay and Kevin O'Connell, 2 former Commanders coaches. Ain't that something?
Yeah, that is crazy.
Crazy.
Let me get your thoughts about this. Since you're a Rams fan and we're talking about your head coach.
Okay.
Your head coach to me seems like he's one of them like party type of guys. Like I would have a drink with him or something. Like it's gonna be one of them wild like hangover type of nights. Do you get that feel from your coach too?
Oh yeah. He seemed like he's like a real chill dude. Like he don't really, and he like we saw when Skip Bayless called him Sean McVay because he was going crazy. He scored a touchdown. Yeah, he seemed like one of those chill guys, and he's like one of the youngest coaches in the NFL right now, I believe. Right?
Yeah,
he's one of the youngest head. So. Yeah, he seemed like he's a real chill dude. And that's the only thing, like, when people ask, like, how long do you think this is going to last? It all depends on how long Sean McVay is there. Because, we already had PTSD from when Fisher was there. That was awful. That was so seeing, like, when Sean McVay did that fake pump as far as retiring, I was like, oh, thank God. Because I don't know where they're going to. And the thing is, like, we just talked about Fisk and Verse. They're rookies right now. So if they're doing that right now, give them a couple of years. If we get that backfield ready and Verse and Fist stay healthy, it's going to be nasty on defense. And that's the only part that's the problem right now is the defense is decent, but it's just not, I feel like the right quarterback can carve them up really good.
So then I got to follow up then because you talked about Jeff Fisher. Do you feel like what were your thoughts about Jared Goff during that time? Because he seemed like a bust and now he's been to a Super Bowl with you guys, and then he goes to the Lions, and he's been to an NFC Championship game. You talked about Jeff Fisher, and people think that was just a bad era, but
yeah, it was terrible.
How did you feel about that being a Rams fan during that time?
I actually liked Jared Goff at the time. I thought he was like, I didn't think he was like super amazing, but I didn't think he was as bad because there was a lot of people in the Rams fan base that did not like him, and I was like, well, I don't know why, but I felt like Todd Gurley really helped him out a lot. But I always thought that he had some talent, and as he's showing it now while he's in Detroit. So, I thought he did what needed to be done. I think when he got to the Super Bowl, I think that was too big of a, show for him, especially going against someone like the Patriots and going against their head coach and the Tom Brady. For someone of his age, as far as being a QB at their first Super Bowl with a barely functional running back at the time, because Todd Gurley, they were trying to lie about his injury or whatever. That was a huge moment for somebody. For him, for any quarterback in his position, and people still hold that against him. But I'm like, you know what? I still think he's great. And then once he got to Detroit, even the Detroit fans didn't like him when he first got there. Because remember, even his teammates was killing him. And I was telling people in Detroit, I'm like, give him some time, man. He's gonna develop. And it's crazy how it changed to now, like how much they love him right now. It's so crazy, which is well deserved because he's been killing it. But it's crazy.
Yeah, he kind of reminds me of how Sam Darnold is right now. Yeah. Where it's just like it shows you if you have the right coach and the right position, and the right team, man, that can just do so many wonders. Like you were talking about when you said Jared Goff and how he went from Jeff Fisher to Sean McVay, and he goes to a Super Bowl.
Yeah. That's a big thing. And we've been through a lot of quarterbacks, from Mark Bolger to so many different quarterbacks.
About Mark Bolger.
Yeah.
Mark Bolger.
Because then because your head coach at the time was what, Mike Martz was his name?
Yeah, Mike Martz.
I remember
towards the end of his coaching career. And those are like 2007 to 2009. Through all 3 seasons, we had a total of 6 wins. Out of all 3 of those seasons. One season we had 1 win, one we had 2, the other we had 3.
Wow,
I think I remember that because I think we beat. No, we did beat, and I think that was Notorious Smith debut. He had like 3 touchdowns against y'all.
Yeah,
I think that might have been.
I believe it. They was bad. The defense was terrible. Like the only team I think they beat on that one season was the Detroit Lions, and that's when the Lions were terrible. So everybody was beating the Lions that year. So yeah, man.
Oh,
crazy time.
I forgot about that. Do you miss them being the greatest show on turf in St. Louis, or are you happy that they're in LA right now?
Man. I mean, the location don't really matter to me, but right now I feel like they're like a 2.0 at it, like kind of with Puka and Cooper Kupp and with Kyron Williams right now, who's been killing it. Like every time he touched the ball, man, we know we getting at least 5 yards every time he touched the ball. So it kind of get the same feeling as the greatest show on turf. They're not that, but they're as close as you can be in this era of football. And I'm really loving what they're doing right. And we just got Higbee back too, so I'm happy about that as well.
I'll admit, going to St. Louis and then passing where they played at, it's a little weird that like it's just this big ass space and they're not there.
Yeah,
like, I kind of miss them in St. Louis. I understand them being in LA, but I did want them back in St. Louis.
I do kind of miss that blue and gold, like the uniform and the helmets and everything. I do miss that. I still got my Todd Gurley jersey with the blue and gold in there, and and it's crazy because like even when they're in St. Louis, that was around the time but Aaron Donald was a rookie around that time. Tyler Higbee just got drafted around that time. So yeah, it's crazy.
Have you been to the new stadium out in LA?
Oh yeah. I went there 2 years ago. I went on the tour for my birthday, and they actually, it's crazy. They actually took me to the back to the locker room, or not in the meeting room, where they signed the wall after every playoff win. That was a year after they won the Super Bowl. And they let me take a picture in front of it. And they was like, we're not supposed to let y'all do that. And it was like looking out. And I got in front of it, took the picture, like, get out. And I got out, but that was crazy. It was crazy, bro. It was like, get out, come on, get out. Like, I ain't trying to get fired, bro. Get out of here. Like, all right. But it was cool, man. I was actually surprised they let me do that. But yeah, it's a nice stadium. It's the way it's built, the architecture, everything about it it's like built underground. Like the football field is underground. So you got ground level and the football field is there. And then the whole stadium is built to where it retracts and expands. So if an earthquake happens, the stadium can't get destroyed. It just keeps going in and out. Like it's like breathing almost. It's crazy. They put a lot of money into that.
Yeah, we could tell.
They put a ton of money into that, man.
I mean, I've been to Jerry World this season, so I know how that football stadium operates, but I haven't never been to SoFi or SoFly, as they like to call it.
We just went to Jerry World too, and I took my brother there and this is crazy. I took him there because he's a Cowboys fan. We ended up taking him there the day that they played the Detroit Lions at home. And that's when they and he ain't saying nothing the whole game. I was like, bro, if you want to cry, bro, just do it.
Now if you want to cry,
just do it, man. Yeah. I get it, because it was bad, man. It was so bad.
You saying that reminds me of this past summer. I'm a Yankees fan, so Roger came out and he met my brother and my cousin, and they're all Orioles fans. I'm the only Yankees fan there. And when the Yankees just won, everybody was just like real quiet. But I'm over there like, yeah, that's the best birthday ever.
Yeah, that's how it was. Like the whole stadium the whole first half of the stadium, everybody was like, we got this. And then the second half, nobody was talking. And in the fourth quarter, everybody was booing the team. And it was weird. And I wasn't a fan of either one. I was just like, I had Jared Goff as a starter, so that was kind of weird.
What is a surprise team you see making some noise in the AFC?
Might be in the AFC. I kind of want to say the Bengals, though. I know that sounds crazy, but they got the talent, man. They still in the hunt, and they got the talent, bro. That guy Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Joe Burrow, 7-11. I hate their defense, but they offense, man. You don't want to go into a sparring match with them. You don't want to do that.
We know. We've been in 2 of those sparring. Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's true.
But we went toe to toe with them. So
you did, absolutely.
So, who do you think should be MVP right now?
Dang. See, I want to say Lamar. I want to say Lamar, but they're gonna.
We know.
No.
Yeah.
Forget they. Forget they. Who do you think is going to be?
Yeah, who do I think is gonna? Yeah, I'm gonna pick. I'm gonna pick. Okay, so on the conversation of Joe Burrow, if he gets them to the playoffs, the way that they are, he up there. But I'm gonna have to say I'm gonna say Lamar. I want it to be Lamar so bad, bro. I know they want it to be Allen, but I really want it to be Lamar, bro.
They've really said honestly the only difference is the record, because you see Lamar kills him statistically, but it's just that the Bills just have a better record right now, and so they're going to try to force it to give it to Josh. But when you just see Lamar, man, that's just like you said, that's just he's just balling out right now. I like your pick about Burrow, because I said myself too on the podcast a few weeks ago. I said if Burrow had a better record, his numbers make him right in the race. Of course, we know about Saquon, but unless Saquon breaks the record, he's not going to get it. So it's just really them. It's really Lamar or Allen, and like you said, they're pushing for Allen to get it so heavy.
They want it so bad, and it's like the crazy thing is Lamar. If you want to just blame it on if you look at it like you said statistically, Lamar is better than Allen right now. The record obviously isn't the same thing, and then also if you look at the games they played, Buffalo against like the Rams, of course, you saw what happened there. They barely beat the Patriots. Like it's the games where I see like how Allen plays in those games. I'm just like, I don't know why they would want him to be MVP.
We know.
I can't. Yeah, I know why. I know why. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. But yeah, man, it's got to be Lamar, man. And hopefully this is the season, bro. I really do hope it's the season for the Baltimore Ravens to get that chip, though, man. It got to be this year.
Oh, look, I know Cravante's gonna hate this, but I gotta ask this. I gotta ask this type of question, man.
Oh man,
who do you think needs to finish the story? If there's a wrestler that you could, if there's a team that you feel like, a player rather, that needs to finish the story, who do you think that is?
Like a player who hasn't gotten a Super Bowl yet?
Yeah. Get it? Do you think it's like a Lamar? Do you think it's like a Joe Burrow or Josh Allen?
Oh man, that's a tough one. It just out of those three players, right?
I mean, it could be whoever you want.
I want to see Lamar do it. I really do want to see Lamar do it. But it's but in the back of my mind, as far as a random pick, because I was a fan of him as a wide receiver, I kind of want to see DeAndre Hopkins finally get something. Just finally get something. Not that I want to see the Chiefs win again, but at some point I want to see DeAndre at least pick up something, man. Because there's too many of my favorite wide receivers that I grew up watching that just never got that ring, man. Randy Moss for one. Like that still hurts me to this day. And I hate the Patriots. And I'm like, bro, how do you join the Patriots and still can't get a ring?
He was a Kaepernick run away from getting a ring.
We just talked
run.
We just talked about this Friday when I was out with Cravante, and we said that because if y'all remember, Randy Moss actually caught the game-winning touchdown.
Yep.
But then Eli Manning, I don't know, man. That dude turned into Joe Montana out there. Like
I don't know how he keep doing that, man. It's just something about the Patriots, and you smell the Patriots jersey and turn Superman. I don't know what. Like, it made no sense to me. But yeah, Randy, yeah.
Yeah, Randy.
Who do you think is going to be Rookie of the Year?
Who's going to be Rookie of the Year? Oh, yeah, you already know. It's Jaden Of course, it's going to be Jaden Daniels for sure. I was kind of hoping Jared Verse was going to do a lot more, but I get he a rookie to the point where he might get even nominated. Of course, we already know defenses can't win that, but just to at least be in the running. But yeah, it's going to be Jaden Daniels. It can't be nobody else.
Bo Nix was in the running for a little bit. Especially during that time when Jaden Daniels, when they was on that 3-game losing streak.
Oh yeah,
Bo Nix really came up, but I think Jaden Daniels might have just closed the door with this last performance.
But Bo Nix is solid though. He is.
You know what? We haven't seen a rookie quarterback class like this since Lamar, Allen. Mayfield. Yeah, I think that this is starting to rank up right up there. I know, Caleb has some struggles right now, but Penix looks good. Bo looks good. Jalen, like they all look good.
Yeah, you're right. I haven't even thought about that because I was like, we went through a drought for a long time of having multiple quarterbacks who were good in the league at the same time. That's how all these quarterbacks that's not supposed to be in the league no more. I was like, this is y'all time to get a job, bro. To get a job right now because once these rookies come in and start killing it, it's over. It's over for you guys.
Once they get that thing locked in, if you have a franchise quarterback, that can last you a good 10 to 15 years. And now with hopefully. Modern medicine, these cats lasting longer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you see the Vikings, they probably don't even know if they want to keep Donald or not.
Yeah, JJ's the only one that's in question, and that's because of injury. But I mean, excluding him, because even him, they said that he was looking good until the injury, in preseason and in camp. But I forgot about JJ for a second, and then I feel like it's one other one that we're forgetting about when we're talking about this current crop of the rookie quarterbacks. But
is it the QB for the Patriots, he's not a rookie, is he?
Oh, you're right.
Drake May.
He looks good. He looks good, but
yeah,
it's like Caleb. They fighting some demons that I don't know if you can beat that, bro.
yeah, for sure. And then even with like McCarthy, like I think he looked good, but I don't know, bro. When it comes to I don't trust McCarthy's, bro. That's just what it is. That McCarthy, the McCarthy in Dallas, Melissa McCarthy.
Not Melissa McCarthy.
It don't even matter, man. McCarthy's, I don't know, bro. You see what you did to Ghostbusters. I can't trust her. You see what McCarthy's doing in Dallas. Can't trust him.
Hey, look, they won last night though.
But they won.
They should not have won that game, bro.
But they won. The game didn't really even matter. I don't even know if I trust Paul McCarthy. I don't know, bro.
Hey, yo.
But it's crazy, bro. These rookie QBs, man, it's very impressive. And speaking of the Rams, that's the other thing. Like, I'm trying to figure out. Okay, I want Stafford to be there as long as possible. We know that he gets hurt. Cross my fingers a lot. Well, who's gonna be next up?
Yeah, I was getting ready to ask you that.
That was one of my questions. How long? How much longer do you think Matthew Stafford will be with the Rams?
I honestly thought he was gonna be gone like a year or two ago because the type of injuries he was getting, and he kept getting like spinal hurt, like the spine was getting hurt and everything. I was like, okay, it's time for you to hang up. But the way he's been looking this year, maybe he got another year or two left. But we got Jimmy Garoppolo and Stetson Bennett as backups right now, so I don't trust Jimmy G at all. Stetson Bennett, I don't know. And they didn't even want to start.
You guys had Baker for a little bit. He was all right.
Yeah, he came in for the first game. He studied all the plays on the plane, came in. I was actually at that game. He won that game. And he came up with a miracle, but then he started losing after that. And then that's when he got traded over to Tampa Bay. But yeah, or did he get traded to the Panthers?
I think it might have been the Bucks because I think he was with the Panthers before that,
right?
And then
he went from Cleveland to Carolina, right?
Yeah.
They went to LA.
Yeah.
Who would you like to see be the next quarterback if you could, whether that's in the draft or free agency?
Oh man. That's a tough one, man. That's a tough one because it's all contingent on if Sean McVay is there or not. That'll make a huge difference, regardless of who the next quarterback is. I definitely don't want it to be old boy from the Browns for sure.
Oh, James,
James Wilson. Yeah, I don't want no. This man got cornerbacks in the locker room talking like they're wide receivers. Like, how much touchdowns you getting from him? Oh, I'm getting how many yards per catch am I getting? He giving everybody touchdowns, bro. But it would have to be like right now. I don't know, man. It would have to be Stetson Bennett if that's what they had to do. I can't think of anybody in free agency that I'd want that who isn't too old, that is probably gonna get hurt over there. But yeah, it's gonna have to be Stetson, man. See what happens with that.
If it's not the Rams coming out of the NFC, who do you have coming out the NFC and why?
It's gonna have to be the Eagles, man. It's gonna Eagles, and I really want the Commanders to do it, bro. I really like the Commanders, bro. Okay. I want them to do it, but in 2-3 years, or maybe next year, bro. Next year, hey, y'all draft us some good cornerbacks. Y'all up there. But it's gonna have to be with the Eagles, depending on what's going on with Jalen Hurts. Because with the Lions, with them losing so many people on defense,
so many people,
bro. I can't pick them. That's. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, man, You're right.
Because they would have been the easy choice, but
yes,
with people like the Vikings, you know, people who got all the NFC teams that's making it to the playoffs, all got good QBs. And if your defense ain't ready, they will carve you up. And if they don't got a good QB, they got a star wide receiver. Like, it's just, you know, your defense being that, or they got a running back that can run all over you. Like, it's just, I don't know what they can do.
Man.
Chiefs 3P and oh boy.
He said Chiefs 3P.
I
don't know, man.
That's
the
easy one to say, but they do not look like. I know it's regular season. They did this to us last year, so
yeah,
you don't want to count them
and
out.
The year before that,
but my gosh, they just find ways to win.
Yeah, they starting to look like the Patriots, dude. Like, they keep evolving. Like, they find one year they're a defensive team, next year they're an offensive team. Like, they keep changing. Like, they pick one phase of the football team and enhance that so much where the other parts of it don't matter, that they're not great. And it's like, I don't know, man. It's weird. I want to say they can't make it because they keep winning so close, but a win's a win, bro. If they can figure it out, that's what's gonna get you to the Super Bowl. That's what's gonna have you win the Super Bowl. So
Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, he'll find a way, man. He keeps speaking like he got a sprained ankle, dude. We can't do this every year. Like, he got to stop doing that, man.
I think it was fake, man.
He do this every year.
He had this injury before, so
he did that in the Super Bowl a couple years ago.
He did it in the AFC Championship too.
Yeah. That
Mm-hmm.
It was against the Bengals.
Yep. He was like, my ankle, 3 touchdowns. Like, what, bro? Like, where? Hey, bro, how, bro? How you got more rushing yards than a running back right now? You got a sprained ankle, bro. What are you talking about?
He gallops for a 25-yard gain.
That's what it is. Yeah.
Not gallop.
4th and 20. He gallops for 25 yards. Like,
what? His motion is so slow, but he's moving so fast. It's so confusing.
Wow, man.
Crazy thing, man.
But I want to ask you this, man. Since well, maybe I should let Byron transition to it since he has it as a banner. Byron, are you good?
Okay. We're gonna do it. We're gonna transition because I know Dre's about to get out of here. We want to transition.
Yeah,
so we got Brother Thoughts here for the whole show. Dre's gonna go home. He's gonna join us back. Brother Thoughts, Rod, Cavante, we're gonna get into some topics that we do on a normal podcast. So if you're still with us, make sure you guys like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you guys for joining us on this kickoff to your Christmas holiday. The Travis Hunter situation. Raj, I'm gonna let you get a background because you know